The key provision here, which is actually a first for a COP, is including language on fossil fuels and coal. This is a very, very big deal, and COP26 has reached an agreement on fossil fuels and coal, but it's come at a cost. Let me explain. There have been countries such as Australia, China, and India who have put pressure on the UN to water down its commitments to reducing reliance on fossil fuels, like coal, for example. And a statement on fossil fuels has made it into the Glasgow Pact. So this is the first time this has ever happened. But here's the catch, and I want you to listen carefully because this is where things get interesting. There were rounds of negotiations on this, bruising rounds, as Sky News describes it here, of negotiations. And the language in the text on fossil fuels was originally going to commit nations to phasing out fossil fuels, phasing out coal. However, at the very last minute, literally at the 11th hour on Saturday, the final day as it ran into overtime, India and China forced through a watering down of that phrase. So instead of the parties committing to phasing out fossil fuels, the wording is now phasing down fossil fuels. And just that one word, from phasing out to phasing down, that one change, you can tell it has really dampened the mood, dampened the spirits in Glasgow. You can watch the TV footage. You can just tell the mood in the conference hall was very somber. So somber, in fact, that the president of COP26, Alok Sharma, came close to tears. He had to apologise to delegates for the way that the process unfolded, apologising to those smaller nations for not making that commitment much clearer to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. But India and China had other ideas, and they do not want to commit to just completely eradicating the use of fossil fuels. They want to phase down and sort of, continue their reliance, but slowly phase it out. And so Alok Sharma was close to tears. He's worked very hard on this for a couple of years. He's probably absolutely exhausted. And on the stage on Saturday night, he just let it all out. And it was quite a moment to watch, actually. Absolutely extraordinary. The reaction to the Glasgow Pact has been fairly mixed. The government is, of course, touting this deal as a success. The Prime Minister tweeting last night, "We asked nations to come together for our planet at COP26, and they have answered that call. I want to thank the leaders, negotiators, and campaigners who've made this pact happen, and the people of Glasgow who welcomed them with open arms. I hope that we will look back at COP26 in Glasgow as the beginning of the end of climate change, and I will continue to work tirelessly towards that goal." So Boris Johnson, very, very happy with that deal. The UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, on the other hand, not so optimistic. He described the deal as a compromise that took important steps, but that, quote, "the collective political will was not enough to overcome some deep contradictions." And he went on to warn that, quote, "our fragile planet is hanging by a thread. We are still knocking on the door of climate change." So the UN Secretary General not happy at all with this deal. He thinks it's basically just piecemeal and not really of any significance. The leader of the Labour Party, Sir Keir Starmer, he tweeted that it is welcome that an agreement has been reached at COP26, but we've seen too many promises for tomorrow, not the action that is needed for today. He says Boris Johnson bears responsibility for that. Environmental campaigners, also not very happy. Greenpeace, their international executive director, Jennifer Morgan, said, quote, "It's meek, it's weak, and the 1.5 degree goal is only just alive." But the signal has been sent that the era of coal is ending, and that matters, and it only is just a signal. It is just a signal because of the last minute change made by India and China.